Coming up on the Desert Vision, armor soldiers conduct valuable combat training in Kuwait, and Marines prepare to hand over operations to the Afghan National Army. Welcome to this edition of the Desert Vision. I'm Army Sergeant Heath Graham. Armor Brigade soldiers at Camp BRYAN got the opportunity to dismount their vehicles and train for military operations on urban terrain. Army Sergeant Matt Waymeyer has the story.
An armor platoon from the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team 4th Infantry Division conducted close quarters battle training at FOB Gerber. The training used simulation rounds to increase the authenticity of combat.
A lot of things change as the training progresses, and we try to get as close as we can to actual scenarios of what they might encounter in a fight.
The simulation rounds gave the armor soldiers more infantry training value than just blank ammunition alone.
The more friction points we can identify and SOPs that we can develop, the better we'll be.
Kicking indoors gave the soldiers a new perspective outside of their tank hatches.
Me as a soldier, we have to enter and clear a room, and that's a big disadvantage against us because it's a lot of dead space and high spots they can occupy.
The soldiers said they learned the importance of maintaining their spacing while moving in urban environments. Army Sergeant Matt Waymeyer, 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team 4th Infantry Division, FOB Gerber, Kuwait.
Aerospace ground equipment is responsible for making sure that crew chiefs have the serviceable equipment needed to maintain their aircraft. Senior Airman Anthony Hetledge tells us how these equipment maintainers help keep aircraft serviced and in the fight.
There's no air power without ground power. That's the slogan for Aerospace Ground Equipment, or AGE. AGE airmen hold the important job of maintaining all the ground equipment that's used to service aircraft at Bagram Airfield.
Our stuff is pretty important in terms of getting the aircraft serviced and getting the aircraft repaired. The crew chiefs use our equipment, and it's pretty important to have serviceable AGE in order so they can do their job so we get the planes up in the air.
There are 21 airmen in the shop that maintain and repair over 400 pieces of equipment essential to maintaining aircraft.
We do two types of maintenance here, preventative maintenance. So we do a lot of scheduled inspections like what he was doing here with the bomb lift. And we also do maintenance when something breaks. AGE is pretty all-encompassing. We do pneumatics, hydraulics, heating, cooling, power generation. So it's a little bit of everything.
Some of the numerous types of equipment they repair include bomb lifts, generators, and even wash carts.
Basically, if something's not working out in the flight line, maintainers out there will call the driver. The driver will come out and look at it, and if he can't fix it there on the spot, he'll bring it back to the shop and we'll troubleshoot it and see what's wrong with it and get it repaired.
Senior Airman Anthony Hetledge, Bagram Airfield, Afghanistan.
As Operation Enduring Freedom and major U.S. combat operations in Afghanistan enter their final phases, force protection is a no-fail mission. Sergeant First Class Matthew Veasley tells us how one Air Defense Artillery unit at Bagram Airfield has prepared the base to assure safe counter-aerial defense efforts and to sustain operations.
The 2nd Battalion, 44th Air Defense Artillery, has embarked on a critical mission here on Bagram Airfield, Afghanistan. Only 6 weeks into the fight, the 244-88 has spearheaded the Counter-Rocket Artillery Mortar System, also known as the CRAM mission here on Bagram, with superiority and a zeal like no other.
What I've got behind me here is a land-based phalanx weapon system. It's a 20mm Vulcan cannon designed to engage and destroy incoming indirect fire threats, mortars, rockets, artillery shells, and fires about 75 rounds a second of 20mm high explosive. Very capable system we borrowed from the Navy. Same system the Navy uses on its vessels to protect themselves from missiles, boats, and aircraft.
Formerly an Avenger unit, the 244 has shifted gears in support of the mission here in Afghanistan. The 244th went through several months of extraneous training at Fort Sill, Oklahoma on the CRAM system to assure safe and accurate operations here on Bagram.
Because of what we're doing here, I feel that the people that live on the post, you know, they can go about their jobs and not have to worry about being back here because we're protecting it and we got it covered.
We've got our operations up and running to defend BAF over the next 6 months, our focus will obviously be always improve our position, improve the living conditions and the status for our soldiers, continue to train, and bottom line, continue to protect the force and defend Bagram and all of its personnel and equipment from the indirect fire threat.
Reporting from Bagram Airfield, Afghanistan for the 1st Theater Sustainment Command, I'm Army Sergeant First Class Matthew Veasley.
I'm Sergeant Major of the Army Ray Chandler. April is Sexual Harassment, Assault Response and Prevention Month. The SHARP program reinforces the Army's commitment to eliminate incidents of sexual harassment and sexual assault through awareness, prevention, reporting, and accountability. Changing our culture to stop sexual harassment and assault will enhance military readiness, productivity, and unit cohesion. Participate in your installation SHARP activities and help us stay Army strong.
Without the sacrifice, hard work, and selfless service from many of the 4,000 plus men and women from over 16 countries who are here supporting us from around the world, our success would not be possible. These invaluable members of our team leave their families for years at a time to help provide essential services in pursuit of providing their loved ones with greater opportunity and a higher quality of life. Our Army values require and demand we show respect and dignity to all, whether in uniform or out. This requirement extends to the thousands of civilians within our area of responsibility that make it all possible for service members on a daily basis. Even one incident of disrespect seriously hinders our mission and our relationships that we have all worked for many years to build. Whether you are at the gym, the DFAC, or any of the hundreds of locations in which we interact with our host nation civilian workers, be courteous, polite, and respectful. Show sincere appreciation for their service to our nation. U.S. Army Central, Patton's Own. Welcome back. The Department of Defense recently restructured the process for transitioning out of the military. The restructure puts emphasis in 3 main areas to help make the separation easier and to better prepare service members for the next phase in their lives.
To be able to whet the appetite and handle one of those jobs.
The senior enlisted advisor to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Sergeant Major BRYAN Battaglia, and the director of the Department of Defense Transition to Veterans Program, Susan Kelly, met with soldiers at Camp ARIFJAN to discuss the Army Career and Alumni Program, or ACAP.
So well, this is your opportunity to ask.
Battaglia and Kelly shared program changes and ideas and took feedback for the program moving forward as service members transition out of the military by ETS or retirement.
We want to do the best job we can, exhaust every effort to fully prepare service members for transition and reintegration back into society.
Especially when we talk about insurance terms.
The ACAP curriculum was recently redesigned to make the transition into civilian life easier and more helpful towards starting a new career, continuing education, and entrepreneurship.
That's where they get the term rider.
It shows that they're really trying to push for the future. I mean, regardless if we're staying in or not, they're still trying to make soldiers look good and have soldiers succeed in life, no matter what they do.
Another key focus for the redesign is to give the service member more time to prepare for civilian life by implementing the program into the military life cycle, rather than focusing on the separation as the soldier's military service is nearing end. For more information on the Transition Assistance Program, you can visit taonline.com. Soldiers in Afghanistan teamed up with the Kandahar Region Ministry of Public Health to help save lives and money. Army Staff Sergeant Haley Zimmerman shows us how this partnership benefits the Army and the region.
This warehouse on Kandahar Airfield may seem like any other, but it's what's in these boxes that will eventually be a lifeline for those receiving it. Today, soldiers from the 82nd Sustainment Brigade's Medical Retrosort Yard donated unused medical supplies to the Kandahar Region's Ministry of Public Health. This is the largest donation of its kind given to the ministry and will help to fill any deficits.
We will use those in emergency situation because in emergency situation we do not have enough supplies, so we will use them on that time, and also we will use routinely in our health facility.
The additional benefit is that the Army prevents fraud, waste, and abuse, saving taxpayer dollars.
If they were not to come and to take it, then we would dispose of it, or it would get thrown away. That's a lot of money going to waste, and if somebody couldn't use it, then why not?
As partner cooperation between the nations continue, the ripple effect of this handover will no doubt be felt by individuals around the Kandahar region. Army Staff Sergeant Haley Zimmerman, Kandahar Airfield, Afghanistan.
Marine advisors of FOB NOLAY in Afghanistan are shifting into a hands-off role in the Sangin Valley. Sergeant David Ogden tells us how Afghan National Army soldiers are taking charge of regional security and medical support for their troops.
Morning begins like any other on FOB NOLAY, Afghanistan. FOB NOLAY is one of many outposts located in the fertile Sangin Valley where coalition troops once pushed out Taliban fighters. Today, coalition forces are no longer doing the fighting. The Afghan National Army, or ANA, has established themselves as the dominant force in the region.
I'd say they're performing outstanding. I mean, they are fully in the lead. They are planning, coordinating, and executing operations as a fully functioning brigade across the spectrum. They've been planning and coordinating operations in preparation for the upcoming elections, and I believe we're going to see success in that area.
On each outpost, ANA soldiers train and live, as well as keep a watchful eye on the villages and fields below. With the importance of security comes the importance of medical facilities. This is another area where the ANA have taken what they've learned from their Marine advisors and applied their own style of ingenuity.
The ANA tend to be very resourceful. They're incredibly resourceful and they come up with their own solutions. For example, they didn't have heat, so instead of complaining about heat, they created a heated space with a wood-burning stove. They do an incredible job taking care of their soldiers from point of injury care. They're putting on tourniquets high and tight. They're putting on the bandages that they need to, and they're providing life-sustaining care to their casualties. I just think that the ANA continue to do an incredible job, whether it's healthcare or otherwise. They continue to impress us. They're far beyond any capabilities that we thought they would have, and it's just an honor to continue to empower such warfighters that are as resourceful as they are.
You know, the bottom line is here in Sangin, the ANA are still standing.
Reporting from FOB NOLAY, Afghanistan, I'm Sergeant David Ogden.
That wraps up this edition of the Desert Vision. For this newscast and more, you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/US Army Central. Thanks for watching.